Aloha and welcome to this screencast on getting started with RadGrad. After you've been registered with the system, you can log in and you'll come to a page like this, your home page. This is what you're actually seeing here is a hypothetical page for a sample student. It's not a real page, but some of the things you can notice is that there are no recommended opportunities, no recommended courses, and no teasers. And that's because you haven't told RadGrad yet what you're interested in. So one of the first things you want to do is go to the About Me page and provide this information. And you can see that what RadGrad wants to know in order to help customize your experience is what your career goals are, what your interests are, and what your academic plan is, or are if you have multiple ones that you're interested in. This takes a little while to actually set up. And so if you're stepping through this with me, I'll put little pauses in so you can actually explore things. We'll start by looking at the Academic Plan Explorer, and you can see there's 14 of them. You may have already have an academic plan. It may already be listed for you if it's in Banner, or you may know which one it is through speaking with Gerald. If that's the case, you can just go directly to it. On the other hand, if you don't really know what your academic plan is yet, that's fine. You can just provide one. For example, you might decide, okay, I want the BA in ICS looks potentially interesting to me. And so in that case, you should click on it and then click the Add to Favorites link. And now it's listed over here in the left-hand side as one of your academic plans. Maybe that's the only one you need. You should list at least one. But for example, you might decide, I might also want to have a BS in CS, in which case you click the View More, and you can add that to your favorites as well. So that's the setting up the academic plan, and you can read through it. And you can also notice that it lists the kind of a hypothetical sequence of classes that you should take, and it shows in green the ones that you've already taken. And for this hypothetical student, they've only so far taken ICS 111 and 141. Let's move back now to the home page and to About Me. And you can see that you've now got 2 academic plans listed. The next thing you might want to do is go to the Career Goal page and establish, maybe a couple career goals. So what I'd like you to do now is spend a few minutes and look at the different career goals and think about, 1 or 2 or 3 that you might be interested in. Okay, hopefully you've found some career goals that you're interested in. I'm gonna, for this hypothetical student, say data science. That's looks like a good one. So I click to go to data science and I click the add to favorites. So you can see that there are 4 interests associated with the data science career goal. And if we go back to the home page and go to About Me, you can see that we now have data science appearing as a career goal. If we go to the Interest Explorer, where instead of talking about actual job positions, we're just talking about kind of areas of interest. You can see first of all that we already have a set of interests that we think would be interesting to us just based upon having selected that single career goal of data science. But perhaps there are some other ones. I'd now like you to take a couple minutes, look through these over 70 interest areas, and think about ones that are also of interest to you. Okay, so let's say that sustainability is also an interest area for this hypothetical student. We can read about sustainability here, and then we can add that to our favorites. Let's now go back to our home page. And what you can see now is that we have recommended opportunities because we've listed our career goals, some interests, one or more interests, and our academic plans, when we go to the home page, we can see that that RadGrad now lists opportunities that match our interests, courses that match our interests and those implied through the career goals. And actually, there's some fun little 2-minute videos that we can watch about different things based upon matching interest areas. Once we've set up our academic plans, career goals, and interests, now it's time to look for opportunities. We go to the Explorer page and we can select opportunities. And now over 60 opportunities show up in this page. The idea of opportunities are things that occur outside the classroom that fill out our degree experience in a useful way, so that we have a set of extracurricular activities that are complementary to our future career goals and current interests. So there's a lot of different ways you can organize or you can sort these interests in a variety of ways. One way is to sort them by things that interest you the most, or you can sort based upon the number of innovation points or experience points that are associated with it. Or finally, you can just do it alphabetically if you kind of know what interest or opportunity that you're looking for. But let's start with interest match, because that can be a very useful way to start thinking about opportunities. And the notion here is that you want to come up with at least a half dozen, or maybe even more, opportunities that you'd like to take advantage of at some point in your degree program. So if we look based upon the current interests of this sample student, Google Summer of Code looks like an interesting opportunity. You can learn more about it by watching the little 2-minute video and reading the description. And if you find it of interest, you can add it to favorites by clicking the button. And continuing our search, we see that being a research assistant in Peter Sadowski's lab, that looks like that might be interesting. So we read a little bit more about it and decide, yes, in fact, that's something I'd like to do. And so we add it to our favorites. What I'd like you to do now is spend a couple minutes by yourself and go through these opportunities, come up with a half dozen or so that are of interest to you. Okay, so what did you find of interest? What I'll do is add ACM Manoa, that's a student club. I think that's a very good thing to be involved in. So I'll add that to your to the interest list. And you can also notice here that certain interests have reviews associated with it. That can help you. And it also shows you for the upcoming 9 semesters how many students have indicated they want to engage in this opportunity in any given specific semester. So you can see this is a fairly popular one. We have a lot of people indicating that that's something that they're going to do. So we've got a few different opportunities that we favorited. So why do you need to favorite? And the reason why you want to favorite is that the next stage is to go into the degree planner and actually map out for each of your upcoming semesters what courses you're going to take and what opportunities you're going to take advantage of. So this is, it's one thing to kind of say, oh yeah, I'd like to do Google Summer of Code, but it's much better if you actually actively make a decision, like I'm going to do it the summer of 2020 or the summer of 2021, so you can actually prepare for that and try to make it so. So if we go to the academic plan and we select, let's say, the BA, what we get now is a representation of the kinds of courses you need to take and the ability to actually map them out. So we now need to take 211 and 241, and in our idealized schedule, we would do this in spring, but you can see we started kind of a semester off. So what you can do is you can take the little tile and drag it to a semester as a way of indicating that you're going to take it. And you can now notice that in this BA academic plan, we've now this now is listed as green, indicating that it appears somewhere in our plan. The last thing you'll need to know about this academic plan is that if you see ICS 400 plus, that isn't a tile you can drag because that doesn't indicate a specific class. In order to add 400 level courses, the way that you do that is you go to the Explorer, go to Courses, click on 400 level plus to kind of filter out the other ones, and then search through to find the classes of interest. And you can see, if you click on a given course, you can find out the interest areas associated with it, how many students are enrolled in a future semester, a link to the syllabus, and potentially course reviews if they're available. So in this case, I'll say yes. AI, that seems like an interesting course to me. And database systems seems interesting to me. Okay, and now in the degree planner, if we go to the favorited courses, you can see they now appear, and we can decide to add them into our schedule. Now, I do want to caution you that you should always check your plans with Gerald to make sure that they adhere to your the actual UH degree requirement. The final thing we want to do, add some opportunities to our plan. And for this, for example, for Google Summer of Code, we know we want to add that to a summer. So we might add it here to summer 2020. Being a research assistant in Peter Sadowski's lab looks interesting. Perhaps we'll do that during a semester. And then ACM Manoa is a student club, and we know we want to do that right away. But in fact, we might say to ourselves, I'd like to do that more than one semester. So for any of these particular opportunities, being a research assistant, Google Summer of Code is only in the summer, but you could try to do it 2 summers. Being a lab assistant, you could do it for more than 1 semester if the professor is good with it. The ICPC occurs only in fall. And so put that right there. And then Code for Hawaii is a club. And maybe you decide, well, I'll do that in summer of 2021. Okay, so the final thing I want you to note as you fill this out, you might say to yourself, well, is this a well-balanced plan? And one of the ways you can determine that is by looking at your ICE points. So I'll go back to home and then go to the ICE points. And if you're interested in learning more about ICE, you can click the help link, and that gives you some information. But what you can see here is that we have all of the competency points that are necessary. That comes from taking classes. We've almost got enough opportunities to give us 100 innovation points. At least we planned for 90 points of innovation. Where we're not doing so well is with experience, and that means that perhaps we haven't indicated an internship. That's a very common way to get experience points. So we could go back to Explore, select Opportunities, and then we could click on Experience to find those opportunities that give us a lot of experience points for taking part in it, and thus would lead to a more well-balanced situation. So one thing you might do, if you can pick one of these specific internships, but maybe you're not sure what internship you want to take, but you know you want to take one, you could click on this internship link. And in fact, here's a bunch of different links to resources for getting internships. Add that to your favorites. And then if we go to the degree planner, we might decide that, and we click on, well, yeah, so now it's going to appear at the bottom here, and we could take this internship and add it to summer of 21, maybe even add it to summer of 2022, and you can see we're much closer to getting, we've got to 70 experience points already. So just by doing those 2 internships, we'll be much closer to reaching 100. If we go back to the Explorer and also keep looking by experience, maybe we'll participate in the business plan competition. So I'll add that to favorites. And looking through here, having a CS related job, that also seems like an important thing to do. So I'll add that to my favorites. This enables me to go to the degree planner and scroll to the bottom where I'll see my new business plan competition. That is generally in the springtime. So I'll add that to spring of 2021. And a CS related job, that seems important for my final year, so I'll add it to both semesters of my final year. And now you can see that we've at least planned to get to 100 points in each of our 3 areas: innovation, competency, and experience. Now we haven't been verified for these things because we just got our plan. You can see we've taken a couple of classes, so we get the dark blue verified 20 points because we've actually taken these 2 classes. So the next step is to actually kind of execute the plan, right? So take these classes, participate in these opportunities, and once we finish participation, get them verified. So that's how you basically get set up in RadGrad. Any questions, you can talk to a classmate that uses RadGrad or send an email to the radgrad@hawaii.edu mailing address, and we can help you out.